Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Starseed Gathering, my podcast that I created a few years ago. I'm super excited to have my last guest because I'm going to be doing another podcast. So stay tuned to know what this next one will be about. So I have Stella with me today that is in Europe. So we are many hours in difference, but very excited to share. I was on her podcast not so long ago, and she's a very beautiful soul. We connect a lot, so I can't wait to see what she's going to talk about. This podcast is really about showcasing what people do as far as the light work that they do, their story, how they change the world by being themselves. I can't wait to hear all about you, beautiful soul. Welcome to our show.
Hi, Annabelle. I'm so happy to be here, and I agree with you. Every time we communicate, it's like we can go from one subject to another, just like so beautifully and easily. So I'm very happy to be here.
Yay. Thank you so much, Stella. I would love for you to start talking to us about, what brought you to connect more to your the spiritual part of you, the connection to the divine, anything that actually maybe happened or maybe it was always there. So, like, tell us a little bit more about what happened for you.
Thank you so much for this question. So I think the spiritual path has always been there for me. In other words, I believe that I was born to um, just explore next levels of growth for my soul. And I always say that the universe will never like barge into your space or try to force anything onto you. So I feel like this was always available for me, but I guess I had to go through this human experience and human life and these years to then understand that actually there is something deeper for me to explore. And I knew I had to open up more, especially when I had my daughter. So that happened almost 8 years ago when we're recording the interview now. And so what happened at that stage, I was on maternity leave and my daughter had some health issues, and there were loads and loads of different things that happened at that point, but it was very clear to me that I could not ignore this anymore. It was like like none of the doors were opening for me, none of the other doors, like for jobs and other things. And all I had to do was to come back to myself and really dive deeper into what is it that I'm here to do, to start to train in different spaces and learn about techniques and practice with people. And so that's where my professional spiritual journey started. But I believe that ever since I was a child, this was available. It was just waiting for me until I was ready to actually open up more towards it and then share it with the world.
I love that. This is funny because I get images a lot when I speak with people, and sometimes more with some people than others. But it's like if they're showing me on top of you, there was like this gift of energies and wisdom and whatever you needed for this new part of your path. And at some point, it's like, when like a box or like a gift opens all up and everything kind of flowed into your field, into you. How beautiful. So it was a calling, like an inner calling, you think, like something that you couldn't, sometimes you're like you receive those repeated messages within you. And it's, sometimes people, I do a lot of like channeling courses, and they're like, what is my soul? When is my soul speaking to me versus my ego? But your soul is just like a little whisper, and it's usually very soft and very curious, right? Go and see this thing, and why don't you do this? And they place like synchronicities around us. So, what was it for you that kind of clicked
Mm.
between those messages that you received of like doing something else with your work situation and when the move happened within you?
Throughout my life, I moved to different places. So I am originally from Moldova, which is a very small country in Eastern Europe. And then when I was 18, I went to Romania for my studies. And then I moved to the UK over 12 years ago when we're recording this episode. So I have moved a lot. And within those changes, I've done a lot of different jobs as well. But I remember ever since I was a child, I was helping my mom with what she was doing, and there was a lot of like sales involved. She would sell a lot of things, to people, and then there were like all of these tables where people would sell. And it was funny because if I think about it now, I think there are very little places like that now, but I was there helping my mom. And I remember I would always create conversations with customers. And I was only a child, but I remember they would buy something and they would also, while buying that thing, they would stop to talk to me and they would spend minutes and minutes and sometimes hours just talking to me. And I wasn't like hard selling, but I was creating the space for them. And so I remember my mom was always surprised when people would actually want to buy from me, but I was there just helping her as a child. And so as I moved through life, I did a lot of different jobs in customer service, in call centers, like in bank. I worked in different places and shops. Then I had my own business as a beauty salon many years ago. And then when I had my daughter, what I realized was that in everything that I've done, I talked to people. I created space for them to to know more about themselves, almost like a mirror. And I would listen, and then sometimes I would share something that maybe they didn't know was there. So I had it in me always, but I had to to decide. It was a decision. I had to decide that yes, I'm going to take this seriously, and there is not going to be a way back from there. And that point was when I had my daughter. So I believe that my soul contract with her was a very powerful moment in my life, because that was the moment when I had no choice but to actually connect fully with my gift. I had absolutely no choice but to do that, because otherwise it would have been a nightmare, because my family wasn't here with me. My daughter was going through a lot of challenges. I was going through a lot of challenges in many different ways. So I had to, yes, there is this term of like reinvent myself, but actually I had to come back to myself. I had to come back home to myself. And that is how I took the decision, and I had to communicate with the universe that this is what I want to do, and I'm going to fully trust that I will be guided where I need to be.
Oh, how beautiful is that? I really feel we have, and I felt that the first time we had a conversation, that there was, for me, it was not the same thing, but I do feel there's a lot of similarities even in the dates, because I remember 8 years ago where I was in my life, and I needed to trust that even if I didn't know the path forward, that this inner calling that was telling me I needed to follow it. Whatever was going to happen would be unfolding for the best and highest good. But yeah, it's like taking the leap of faith, even if we don't know where we're heading. And I love that you're talking about the arrival of your daughter in your life, because I do believe, for me, it was more my dog. She's going to be 10 years actually next week. And I know that her arrival was like she arrived and my life completely changed within 2, 3 months. So I know that with her, I had this very, very big, and I still have this very big soul contract. So it's like there's no coincidence in this reality. I don't believe in coincidences. And I love that she was there, and that they're just showing me how you had to open up to your divine feminine with her, trusting the messages that you were getting about what she was going through, and how much um, your love was going to support her and you at the same time. If that makes sense, that's kind of the message I'm getting. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And how beautiful that you had such an amazing experience with the arrival of your dog, because I truly believe, like you said, that there are no coincidences at all. And I also believe that there are certain type of coincidences that can happen depending on how much work we've done on ourselves. It's almost like If you just say, okay, that's it, I'm stopping my growth right here, then the coincidences that will happen will be aligned with the energy of what's happening in that moment. But then it takes the decision of like, you know what, I'm actually going to have a dog, right? I'm actually going to welcome a new baby in my world. A decision, it takes a strong, a powerful decision to then grow to the next level and the next level. And when I say the next level, I don't mean like a hierarchy of like up, but just a different level, discovering more about yourself. And then the more decisions like that you take, the more coincidences happen, well, not really coincidences, that are then aligned with that reality. And as an example, I can say, for example, I could have chosen to go to other countries or to remain in my country, and none of them are good or bad or whatever. But what I'm saying is that the types of coincidences that would have happened would have been different, So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I can see that in my life, where I was at when I was waiting for her to be born and then get her, my dog. And then all of the places as you, I also moved a lot, a lot, a lot in the last many years. But, you know, and you're right. It's like they're showing me like I don't know why I get so visual with you, but that's probably because the frequency that we exchange with. It's like it's like if they're waiting at the door, they're like, okay, okay, she unlocked the door, we're almost there, and then the door opens and they can come in, right? So it's like um yeah, those are so contract, they're predetermined. The time, I think we still have free will on, like when is the soul ready to actually commit to that soul coming in, or that contract to come in, because it does activate. If you would see my life 10 years ago and now, first, I'm a completely different person, I'm doing a completely different job, I live in the opposite side of my country. I mean, it's just it's just completely like there's so much difference, but yet so much more depth. So I do believe the have, it's like uh, life changing moments, life changing people, life changing events that we experience. And you're right. I think we have to be ready. I mean, I think everyone that is in the spiritual path, with the consciousness of like, I am actually walking this path right now, know that it's not an easy path. It's like it asks you to look at your shadows. It asks you to look at, oh, do I like this job? Do I like this relationship? Do I like the things that I'm eating? Is it good for my body? Like my habits or the place where I live? I mean, there's so many more questions than answers for a long time. So what was the for you? What do you see the big shifts that have happened during those 8 years? Would you say?
Yeah, I would say that actually with the time when I was pregnant, I would say it's 9 years in total. And we had a chat before we started recording that 2025, when we're recording this video, is actually a big year in terms of having number nine in numerology, and is definitely inviting us after 9, 10 years, because it can be the zero as well. So 9, 10 years is definitely inviting us to look at, okay, what needs to close, what needs to be released. Almost like filtering out and clearing out things in our life as well, with gratitude and love, because those have been experiences and part of our life too. But sometimes you have to do this in order to create space for what's to come. So I feel that absolutely in during these years, including COVID as well, which like turned everybody's world upside down. But I think the biggest changes have been related to the level of growth that I've done for myself. And I truly believe that in order for us to be of service to others, and also present for our families or friends or whoever we have close to us that we care about, it is really important to never give up on ourselves and have this intention that no matter the challenges, we are going to come back to ourselves, because during these years, as you asked, I've been through a lot of different challenges, a lot of different challenges, and especially when I had to be there for my family while building a business, while serving my clients. And I feel that now, as we are completing a big cycle with this number 9 in this year, I feel that I am relaxing more into my feminine energy, which I love so much. And I really invite and welcome into my life this balance of like, yes, I'm going to continue to do because I am a Capricorn, so with the moon in Virgo, so that says a lot. I like to work. I love to work. I love to serve. But then I need to know when it's the time to go for a walk, to just sit in a meditation, to to come back with myself, to have enough sleep, to have nourishing food. Because I know these are like, yeah, whatever, but they are important because we can go into, oh my God, I'm gonna do so much and work so much. At least for me, it's been like that at some point, but it's about the bringing balance. So yes, bringing balance, I guess that's the answer that I was trying to share here.
Oh, I love that. And it's a constant. It's funny because you say that, and I'm feeling like what was my balance, what the balance statement looked like when I started to have like my life kind of falling apart because of whatever was happening back then, and trying to kind of wobble, walk on the wobbly floor, and then finding a balance to that. And what is balance now in 2025 for both of us as, entrepreneurs and, serving humanity with our gifts, and also remembering that we are also here to support ourselves, and you have a family now. So like, it's like all of those pieces, right? So how interesting that all of these events, they make us grow and they make us understand. I remember I have a background in social work, and I remember in the courses that we were doing at university, they were saying like, take baths and like, take a walk, and it was just very settled. And I don't think I understood what taking care of myself really looked like. And now it's like my body is going to tell me I'm going to get super tired, or I'm going to be irritable, or it's like at some point I feel we connect so much more with the body and the insight that we're receiving from it, then we can make different choices. It's like instead of pushing through. I remember I had times when I was social worker and then a manager where I was going to take a coffee at 4 p.m. to continue on for 2-3 more hours because I felt tired. Now, if I feel tired, I'm going to try to go lay down or go outside. The choices are very different now. Yeah. So, what would you say that is your biggest takeaway of these years? Like now we're completing, you're telling us that your balance is, you're getting better at it. I guess we're always working towards a better, a better alignment with balance. What's your biggest takeaway in terms of your spiritual growth and what you quote unquote achieved in those years for yourself?
Mm. So, what's the biggest takeaway is the fact that it's important, as I said, to not give up on yourself, no matter what you're going through, is really important because there will be times when you feel like everything is crushing, nothing makes sense. All these beautiful, good habits that you are trying to create collapse when you have a challenge or whatever comes in your way. And the biggest message for me is to really, first of all, not give up on myself, and I'm sharing this with everyone who's listening, and then always look at what what like where is your energy and body now, because you will never be 10 years old, 12, 20 years old again. And I'm not saying this with regret, I'm just saying it as a fact, is a reality. And as we go through life and we go through adolescence, childhood, adolescence, and then young adults, we're becoming young adults and we get to connect with our bodies in a particular way. And then we move through life, we change. And it's important to embrace these changes and to constantly check in with, actually, am I comfortable now to have pizza at 8 p.m. how I used to have, like when I was 20 and nothing was happening? Or does my blood pressure go up? And like really paying attention to what our body and mind and soul and energy is communicating with us. Because especially nowadays, you will see a lot of courses, ads, come here, do this, come here, do that. And those are things that worked for those people. And if you're starting from the very beginning, it can help to give you like a framework in some way. But then my message is, after you go through any kind of teachings, readings, whatever, still come back to yourself. Always, always, always come back to yourself. That will be your biggest gift to your soul, to your heart. And that is the most precious thing that everybody can do, in my perspective.
Yeah, it's so easy. I think even more so when we start this journey to take everybody's advice and everybody's tricks and practices and make it our own. And we're like, yeah, well, I don't feel like meditating at 7 a.m. when I'm coming out of bed. But yeah, but that's that's the easiest way that everybody should be doing it. That's just an example, right? But for me, and I know right now, like since a few years, I'm like, I don't even want to know anything about what other people do now. I'm going to do my own, and it's going to be whenever that's going to feel the right for me. But it takes time because, of course, we feel so new to this new way of living our life, this new routine. We want to do it right. We want to make sure that we get the most out of it. But you're right. I mean, there's so many teachings. Like the teachings are good to kind of take some layers out and maybe open the blinders, and open the windows a bit. But then you'll have your own way of doing things. And there's nothing wrong with you meditating at whatever time you want. And if you meditate because you walk in the park because you're able to be present and you're not actually sitting on a yoga mat, it's fine too. And there's your own way, your own soul is going to tell you when something works for you. And I love that you're reminding us all to do that because it's very important. It's so easy to try to do something that's somebody else's way of doing things, but then it doesn't work for you and you're thinking you're wrong. Like you're thinking you're doing something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. It's just how can you actually make it your own? And then you'll see it's going to work for you.
Absolutely. And then a lot of the times, people are uncomfortable with all the parts inside themselves, within themselves. They are uncomfortable with their shadow. They might not know, especially if they're at the very beginning, what this is. And so it is totally, totally normal. And actually, it's amazing to find someone, a teacher at the beginning who you trust, who you followed for a while. You know you can learn something. But then within that experience, step into it with the intention to discover more about yourself, because at some point you may be the person who will create something. And imagine that point, that moment will be the time when you will want that person who will come into your space to discover more about themselves, not to copy your thing, right? So that's the same with when we start. It's about, yes, I found this teacher, I found this mentor. This is going to open the door for me just to see like what's in there. And then I'm doing that with the intention to still discover more about who I am.
Yeah, I'm all about empowering my clients to find what works for them. And of course, at first when you might need some ideas of how to ground, what does that even mean? And how to like do shadow work. Like, what is that? Like it looks scary. But then you'll find your own way of dealing with your energies and you'll find what works best for you. And I think the best mentors, they actually help you to get to where you feel the most at peace, where you feel like you're connecting to your truth. As you said, like I would never want to be somebody else copycat. It was always in any of the jobs, even more so now, but everything else that I've done before, it's always like, well, I'm gonna take this information in, but I'm gonna see what my intuition is telling me. even all of the techniques, as we're going to get to what you do with your clients now, that's the part, right? You can learn Reiki, you can learn life coaching, you can learn energy healing in any way, but how does it come to you? It's very unique to you. There's no two healers the same, two coaches the same. So I think even that is very important in the way that we do our work. So please share how it is that you support our lovely souls around the globe. What's your signature offers, and everything that you'd like to share.
Mm. Thank you for this question, Annabelle. And yes, I think we can name thousand, a million techniques and like things that we've learned and studies in like what we use when somebody comes to us. But I think ultimately what my energy does for someone is I am a facilitator. I facilitate a safe space for people to go in those places that they never wanted to look at or face or experience on their own. It's like, when you go where somewhere where it's dark and you've never been there before, it would help if somebody would come in with a light and would hold the light for you as you walk through that space, at least the first time, so that you can get familiar with what's in there. And as I mentioned, a lot of the times people are uncomfortable with this space within themselves. And that's why they avoid that for a long time. And I did as well, as because we go through this a lot of through this human experience, and it's very easy to get wrapped up in like, oh no, 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 I'm not gonna go there. It wasn't my fault. Yeah, and just it's so easy to do that. But then what happens is these things pile up so much, and then we get to a point where we think, okay, I do know what I'm doing wrong. I do know how to communicate efficiently with the people in my life. And actually, I had a conversation today about how to communicate efficiently with someone. And I believe that you can only do that when you know yourself. And this is what I'm helping my clients do. And yes, I use techniques like past life regression, future life progression. I have done thousands and thousands of readings, tarot, oracle, intuitive readings for people around the world. But I really love to work with people intuitively to help them clear their energies, look at those nuances that they never maybe looked at, or they looked at, but they need a little bit more help or guidance to go there. And what I like to also do is like when somebody comes into my space, even though, for example, they come for a past life regression, I will use my entire experience and years of practice and study to guide them through that journey, because a past life regression is not just going into a past life. It is a lot of guidance that comes in there. There are a lot of nuances that I pick up on when somebody goes into a past life. I know when to stop. I know when to ask another question. I know when to close the session because I've done so much of it. And yes, the names are different and techniques are different that that's how I studied them. And I studied neuro-linguistic programming as well. I'm also on a path of like shamanic practices. As we speak, I've been doing that intensively for over 1 year now, almost 1.5 years, and it's a lot that comes in play. So yeah, it's a long answer, but that's how I work.
Beautiful. And do you work in person where you're at? Do you mostly work online? Do you do groups? Are you more individuals?
So I do mainly work online. I've had some consultations that were face to face, but I have been doing a lot of work online, one-to-one, in groups, in memberships, in courses. So yes, mainly online.
Perfect, perfect. And okay, so people that would come for you for your services, for example, what do you think? is the main attraction that they have from working with you? Because what I understand is from what you shared, and I feel we have similar. We feel good with like looking at things that maybe other people just don't. I've looked a lot at my shadow, so I can look at other people's shadow. No worries with that. It'll be fine. I'll be able to hold space for you there, and we'll take our time, but we'll also make it shift so that you don't stay in this heaviness. So I feel that there's a bit of that in what you're sharing. But if there was like, is there any themes that are like you were talking about communication, is there any themes that you like or that people really kind of connect to you for working on, or is it like pretty open?
So the like some of the examples that I'm thinking about throughout the years that I've experienced were very much about, hey, I want to change my life. I want to change something. I want to upgrade what I'm experiencing now. And so for that, I used a lot of future life progression. That's the name of the technique. But as always, when I'm there with my client, we go into so many other levels. But to answer your question, these clients that came to me with the desire to change their life were I guided them to places within their own consciousness to see what is possible for them, to see the possibility of like, okay, if I'm gonna continue on this path, how will things unfold in a few years from now? If I change particular things, how will things happen as a result? And if I completely let go of any kind of blockages and I work on everything that I need to work on, how will my life become, or how will my life transform? And it's very interesting that as soon as somebody comes in really open with a strong desire to step into this energetic space, things start to shift for them because it's like you're in one room and you're thinking, I want in a different room. I want to go somewhere else, but you don't know what other rooms are out there. And it's almost like somebody is giving you a magazine, a journal, a book, and is telling you, okay, so there is a bedroom, there is a living room, just have a look or imagine or something. And so as soon as somebody was able to see what is possible for them in the highest version of themselves, or in the most beautiful vision that they can see, they went from renting out houses from people who were thinking to sell those houses to actually building a house. It was like I know one of my clients, she had a session like that, and then within a few weeks she was like, I don't know how this is happening, that I walked past this space and they're building houses there, and then this credit came through and then it covered something there, and it just happened I was able to build a house. Or people opened new businesses as a result of that. But then from that moment when they see that this is possible for them to actually making it happen, they realize that there are certain blockages that keep them stuck. There are certain programs that they keep playing again and again and again. And then we start looking at those things. And the more work they do on themselves, the easier it happens or the faster it happens. When I say easier, I just mean the the fact that they continue to see more signs around them, which makes it easier for them to recognize the path. And at the same time, I never stop learning myself. I always grow, I always heal something. And then as we go through life, we experience different situations, new situations, and then you learn something from that, and so on. And yeah, so that's how I help my clients.
Hmm.
Just some examples, but of course, different situations are different. But yeah.
Right, right, right. It can go in so many different ways anyway, as soon as we connect with someone. But I love the examples of breakthroughs that you've experienced with some of your clients, because that's what we're here to do, right? We're here just as, lighthouses, to let them see the path that they want to choose to walk on. We're not gonna walk it for them. We're not gonna take them by the hand the whole way, but we're going to be around shedding light and being there in their corner if they need any help. So I love that. I love that. um would you like to share a little meditation with us today, so that people can connect to your energy? I don't know if there's anything from our conversation that you think could be supporting the people that will view this interview.
Okay. So I haven't prepared for this meditation, but as I said before, I trust that I will be guided to share exactly what I need to share. So yes, I'll be more than happy to share a meditation. And as I'm thinking about it, what my guides are showing to me is, so the vision that I have now is like a lot of little stars in the universe. And these stars are the types of energies that we want to connect with. And that can be possibilities, people, experiences. And you might not know exactly what those experiences need to be. This meditation, I guess, will be just for you to connect with that energy and bring that beautiful love and golden light into your space, and then see what happens. So I'll close my eyes, and I invite everyone who's watching to close their eyes too. Take a deep breath in, and as you do that, just allow for the love of the universe to enter beautiful space in your body and your energy around your body and within too. And just imagine that this amazing energy, beautiful love that you're receiving, goes into every cell of your body. You feel that warmth, the love, the gentle, beautiful energy that comes into your space. This moment is for you. It is yours to experience, to come back to yourself, to come back home to yourself. And as you do that, I want you to invite more of this beautiful golden light from the universe, like a shower, is waiting for you to invite that in. And just give it permission to wash away any worries, tension, anything that troubles you at this point in time. And as it washes away, Mother Earth is holding the space for you to ground yourself, to be present right here, right now. And with this beautiful golden glow, I want you to visualize that there are so many little stars in this universe and on this planet, in form of the energy that you want to connect with. Those might be experiences, people, moments that your soul needs to experience now and in the future. Take a moment to really visualize those little stars, those beautiful points in the universe, and imagine that you're connecting with them. And together, you are bringing more light into the world. Pay attention to how you feel. How are you experiencing this amazing, beautiful, gentle, loving wave for you, for your soul? See what comes through for you. Is there a message that is telling you how you're going to bring that life and light into the world. Just allow for these messages to come through again and again, and you can come back to this place whenever you want. As you're connecting with all of these little stars, know that the grid, the energetic grid, becomes much stronger. And whenever you're ready, I want you to disconnect for now from these stars. Call back your power, call back your energy, purified, recharged with so much love. And know that you always have the possibility to connect with these energies again whenever you wish, to receive messages, to share messages, to feel the power and the love. So call back all of your power, all of your energy, and bring it into your heart. And whenever you're ready, take another deep breath in. And open your eyes. And welcome back.
Oh, so beautiful. I love it. It is very interesting. I was sharing with Stella before we started that I'm going to be moving actually tomorrow to a new place, and I just feel all the little stars that are all around this place where I'm going. So that's very beautiful, kind of a beautiful confirmation. Oh, how beautiful. No, such a lovely soul you are. I'm really happy and lucky that we could connect twice in such a short amount of time. I would love for you. What would you like that people leave this conversation with? Like, what is the most important message you want them to connect to, remembering from this conversation?
Mm. To always become aware of your own power, your strength, your gifts. What is it that you're here to do? Without comparing yourself with others, without trying to be like someone else. Just be yourself. And I know that this can be the hardest thing to do. It can be the hardest thing to do, but it is also the most rewarding. So when you feel a bit lost, a bit confused, create this idea, the thought, the energy that whenever it just feels like things are out of place, you come back to yourself. You always come back to yourself. Yes, and within that space, you may receive the guidance on who to approach if you need help, if you need some sort of guidance, maybe you need to reach out to a friend, but you will only know who to actually go to after you come back to yourself. So remember that.
Hmm. Oh, lovely reminder. Definitely feeling that it's so easy to get distracted with everything around us and feeling even more confused. And as you said, authenticity is a big reward. It requires you also to know when you're not, right? Which is, it's part of the process. But then through that process, you know yourself more, as you were sharing so beautifully earlier. And you have the chance to connect to like-minded soul because then they see you, they feel you, the real you. And I'm pretty sure that's why we connected, both of us. So we hope that all of this beautiful light, these messages, this beautiful wisdom, this love that you shared with us will connect with so many hearts around the globe. Thank you so much, Stella, for being with us today. It was such a pleasure. I'll leave all of your links below so that everybody that wants to connect with you directly, they can communicate with you. And I thank you so much again.